areas. We have set very aggressive programs. One is to accelerate connectivity in the country by expanding our digital connectivity using fiber infrastructure, adding additional 100,000 kilometers of fiber, 100,000 kilometers, to ensure all the public institutions in the country are connected. We have about 74,000 institutions and about 25,000 public Wi-Fi's that we need to connect. We are also setting up digital hubs across the country, and at the same time, we are accelerating our digitalization agenda to ensure our citizens can experience a digital government and a digital society. This brings in the main issue that we are here this morning. This is about data. Data is now viewed not only as the new oil, but a source of truth. We are all seeking truth, whether in public sector, private sector, wants to enhance your business, wants to make right decisions, and all this is in data. And we keep on collecting this data. And today we have authorities that help us to ensure that personal data is well protected, personal data is also put in proper use. As a continent, we have a huge opportunity. Digital economy is growing about 2.5 times faster than the physical economy. And the continent needs to make aggressive programs, to put in place aggressive programs to ensure the continent is not left in this emerging space, to ensure we grow the economy and ensure our people benefit from this infrastructure. So we're looking forward to the conversation by the various authorities on how, as a country, as a continent, can optimize this emerging space, accelerate our connectivity as a continent, open access and flow of data across the continent for us to have these conversations. CS and our Chief Justice, I don't want to speak beyond there. We are very excited as a country, as a ministry. We have our colleagues from the ministry and several other ministries represented here to receive our colleagues from the continent, and we are looking forward to connect more. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we had Connected Africa Summit, where we hosted 14 ministers and several principal secretaries and authorities involved in ICT infrastructure. This time, we are hosting about 20 countries from the continent and more from other continents to have this conversation. And as a country, we are very keen to ensure we unlock all the potentials in this space. We're looking forward to connect even with colleagues from the connectivity side, the ICT connectivity, and the principal secretaries from the continent. And I want to acknowledge one of the principal secretaries from the continent. I'll just give him a chance to say hello. My colleague, P.S. Saidi from Gambia. P.S., please come and introduce yourself here.
Good morning. I am Yankuba Sedi, Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Information of the Republic of the Gambia. I also came with me, Director of Cybersecurity, who is also working at the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy, Director of Information Services, that is working under me, and she's also the head of the Gambia government's official newspaper. I also came with me, Senior Assistant Secretary at the Ministry of Information. So that's the size of the delegation. We were fortunate to be part of last year's event in Burkina Faso. And because as a country, we are also trying to enact our own data protection instrument, and it's been approved by the cabinet. But it still has to go through some enactment process, and we are creating the structures and the enabling environment for full-scale data governance in the Gambia. So we are happy and proud to be part of this delegation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother. And I can assure you, CS, we are in touch with the other PSS from the continent, and we are enhancing, building a network amongst ourselves so that we can have conversations about world's global issues and continental issues, and we will play our role as principal secretaries in our various jurisdictions. So thank you, my colleague. Now I want to invite the chairperson of NEDPA, Chimaden Atantan Sanadi. Please welcome.
Excellences, Monsieur le ministre de la Communication, de l'Information et de l'Économie numérique, Madame la juge en chef de la République du Kenya, Monsieur le secrétaire d'État Monsieur le secrétaire d'État des technologies de l'information et de la communication et de l'économie numérique, Mesdames et Messieurs les commissaires, Madame la commissaire, autant pour moi des données personnelles du Kenya, Mesdames et Messieurs les présidents et chefs de délégation des autorités de protection des données personnelles de l'Afrique, distingués invités, Mesdames et Messieurs, en vos titres, grades et qualités. Bonjour. Excellence, Monsieur le ministre, votre présence parmi nous, que je demande d'ovationner fortement ici, témoigne de l'intérêt que vous et vos pairs attachent au respect des droits de l'homme en général et de la vie privée de nos concitoyens en particulier. Excellences, Monsieur le ministre, Mesdames et Messieurs distingués invités, les réseaux des autorités africaines de protection des données personnelles, les NADPA, RAPDP, dont l'idée a été lancée à Dakar, a été créé à Ouagadougou, au Burkina Faso, en septembre 2016, lors du Forum africain sur la protection des données personnelles, dans le but d'établir une coopération entre ses membres et de faire entendre la voix de l'Afrique dans ses relations avec les partenaires du monde entier. Permettez-moi ici de féliciter à juste titre le Maroc qui assure le secrétariat permanent de notre organisation, dont l'autorité de protection des données personnelles, la CNDP du Maroc, œuvre inlassablement pour faire de cette organisation un organe fonctionnel malgré les diversités culturelles et linguistiques. Avec votre permission, Excellences, Monsieur le ministre, je m'en vais citer les États membres du réseau des autorités africaines de protection des données personnelles. Il s'agit de l'Afrique du Sud, de l'Angola, du Bénin, du Burkina Faso, du Cap-Vert, de la Côte d'Ivoire, Eswatini, du Gabon, du Ghana, le Kenya, le Mali, la Mauritanie, l'île Maurice, le Maroc, le Niger, le Nigeria, l'Ouganda, Sao Tomé et Principe, le Sénégal, le Tchad et la Tunisie. Le Cameroun, le Rwanda et la Gambie sont pays observateurs. La dernière Assemblée générale tenue à Ouagadougou au Burkina Faso en 2022 m'a porté à la tête de ces réseaux en tant que présidente de la Haute Autorité de protection des données à caractère personnel du Niger pour un mandat de 3 ans. Le Kenya, par l'intermédiaire du commissaire des données, occupe le poste de premier vice-président du réseau et la deuxième vice-présidence est assurée par l'Angola, respectant ainsi la diversité linguistique de nos différents États. Nous avons pris officiellement fonction en août 2023, soit seulement 10 mois de gouvernance, et je salue au passage le travail abattu depuis lors par ce bureau, avec l'assistance du secrétaire permanent et avec comme dossier phare la révision de notre règlement intérieur, l'adhésion de nouveaux membres, la redynamisation des groupes de travail et surtout la proposition d'un plan stratégique qui constituera désormais notre feuille de route pour faire de la protection des données personnelles et de la vie privée une réalité dans notre continent. Mesdames et messieurs les responsables des autorités de protection des données personnelles, je suis ravie de me joindre à vous tous aujourd'hui à la 9e Assemblée générale annuelle et à la conférence du réseau des autorités de protection des données personnelles. Je voudrais préciser au passage que cette conférence est la deuxième du genre. Aussi, tous les partenaires internationaux et qui a vraiment une envergure internationale. J'aimais à profiter cette occasion pour féliciter et remercier très vivement notre collègue, Madame Immaculate Kassetti, commissaire aux données, et toute son équipe. Merci pour votre accueil chaleureux et aimable. C'est un véritable plaisir d'être ici, dans cette splendide ville de Nairobi. Merci pour cette gentillesse et votre accueil chaleureux. J'attends avec impatience les délibérations fructueuses au cours de la conférence de 2 jours et lors de l'Assemblée générale annuelle prévue à la fin de cette conférence. Je suis convaincue que cette conférence suscitera des conversations et des résolutions significatives qui propulseront le parcours de la transformation numérique de l'Afrique et plus particulièrement dans le domaine de la protection des données à caractère personnel pour une économie numérique dynamique, mais encadrée et respectée.
This is NTV.
Reach your audience instantly and make a lasting impression with Nation Sema. Affordable bulk SMS at 0.3 Kenya shillings. Own sender ID for 10,000 Kenya shillings plus 10,000 free messages. To sign up, please call 0728434979 or email us on mkibunja@ke.nationmedia.com.
Tired of endless scrolling? Say goodbye to the chaos. Introducing the all-new Business Daily website. Experience seamless navigation. Immerse yourself in a world of more videos and more podcasts. Discover more with our enhanced home pages. Engage like never before with our interactive tools. Join us and elevate your reading experience today. Business Daily. More possibilities.
This was murder.
Hiyo mwili ilikuwa imekatakatwa. Kwanza nakumbukaga vidole ya left na hakukuwa.
Akaongea kwa machozi, Sasa wakati kesi ilianza, akatoa tena ushahidi tofauti.
Wakamkamata, wakamkatakata. Mwenye mbuzi akasema ako na nguvu sana, kateni yeye mguu. Nimestuka sana.
We were given a few minutes to send money. If we are not sending money, then her life will be taken away.
Sakiti yenye alikuwa nayo alikuja nayo hapa. Hizi tu hata kufika tu kwake ngumu.
Bari ameuawa wapi? Ameuawa aje?
Don't just start looking for the murderers from out there. Vile Waswahili wanasema kikulacho kiguoni mwako.
I really think this is not only a new area that we need to work together to bring to life, but I also think it's important for our own businesses to be sustainable. At the heart of every business, for particularly those of us in the private sector, is data, both integrity and confidentiality and protection of that data. Our presence here today, not just in sponsorship, but in person, is testament of that commitment. And most of us are regional entities. KCB operates in 7 countries. In this room, we have representation for our heads of data protection from 4 countries. Uganda is represented here. Tanzania is represented. I think Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya. Madam Commissioner, you will note that our head of data protection for the group is one of the best resources in this town. We truly appreciate her contribution to not only just for KCB, but best practice across the country and across the region. We reaffirm, on behalf of the private sector and partners, our commitment to advance this as both in Kenya and across the region. I thank you for the opportunity to represent the partners, PS, and count on our support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we thank all our partners for the support. This is a very important forum for all of us. As Ruth has mentioned, it's very key for sustainability of our businesses, and it's a platform for us to grow the digital economy. Thank you very much, Paul Russo. It's now my pleasure to invite the Chairman Ambassador, Sebastian Groth, to give his remarks. Welcome, Balozi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, Cabinet Secretary ICT and Digital Economy, good friend Eliud Owalo, Chief Justice Martha Koome, Principal Secretary of ICT and Digital Economy, John Tanui, the Kenyan Data Commissioner, Mrs. Immaculate Kassaid, with whom we work very closely together, all commissioners from across Africa, aussi de l'Afrique francophone, soyez le bienvenue ici à Nairobi. C'est pas toujours comme ça à l'extérieur, normalement il y a du soleil et on peut vraiment bien se promener ici. Donc c'est une période avec beaucoup de pluie actuellement. That's why I also, first of all, would like to express my condolences also on behalf of my government to the loss of life and property here in Kenya due to the flooding of the last weeks. I think what we see is that climate change is a reality, and Germany and Kenya work very closely together to be together in this fight against the effects of climate change. And I only would like to underline once more that Germany is on the side of Kenya and all the countries in East Africa that are affected by the ongoing flooding. Ladies and gentlemen, it is really a great honor to be with you today at this opening, at this ceremony of the Network for African Data Protection Authorities conference. For me, it shows the real power of a Pan-African approach, and to see so many commissioners from north to south, west, east, Central Africa gathered here in Nairobi really is is a strong signal. A few weeks ago, the IMF released the economic outlook for the world. And from the 20 first fastest growing economies, 9 are coming from Africa. And I think this again shows also the potential of the continent and the potential of the regional integration. And I just want to assure you that Germany and the European Union is very much your partner in this effort of regional cooperation and regional integration. And the digital economy and data protection is playing a very, very important role in this regard to unlock the potential of economic growth. That's why I would like to emphasize 2 points in my short remarks. First, what role does data protection play for our societies? And I think it's more or less unimportant if it's a German society, the Belgian, the Czech, the French, or Kenyan, Tanzanian, or South African. And the second point is, what are the economic benefits of shared privacy and data protection policies? So first, let me come to the role of data protection for our societies. Data breaches and privacy violation have become all too common in our increasingly digital world. We have a lot of issues right now, also in Germany, with these risks. And they don't just impact individuals, they erode the fundamental trust that enables the digital economy, but even democracies and political systems to flourish. So data protection is not just a technical issue, it is a fundamental issue to build trust and to sustain trust in a society, to enable the digital economy and to realize the socio-economic potential of the data revolution. This is still ongoing. As Germany, we firmly believe that strong data protection frameworks are essential for unlocking the economic potential of data-driven industries. That is why we are partnering with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner here in Kenya, but also in other African countries. I heard that there's a strong partnership also with Nigeria over the past years to build its capacity and regulatory capabilities. This partnership is implemented here in Kenya through the Digital Transformation Center, and if you're interested what this center is really doing on the ground, you can visit the stand over there. We have supported the capacity building for ODPC staff, enabling the ODPC team to develop world-class expertise in data protection, law and enforcement. Earlier this year, we facilitated Kenya's annual Data Privacy Day celebration to raise awareness among businesses and citizens about the importance of data rights. So fostering Kenya's position as a continental and even global driver of data protection is one of our aims and our missions here, and that's why we support ODPC's membership in the Global Privacy Assembly and help to integrate Kenya into the global network of data protection authorities. So I think what we have seen in the last years, and I really would like to thank the Kenyan government for this partnership, is that it really grew into a very close cooperation, both between Kenya and Germany and between Kenya and the European Union. And in this regard, I'm also very happy to welcome my colleague and friend, Andrei Schimek, who will also talk to you later from the European delegation. So coming to the economic points of data protection, we believe that the economic advantages that come from robust data flows and adequacy agreements between the EU and partner countries are enormous. There's enormous economic potential in it. And one big milestone was achieved in December 2023, especially between Kenya and the European Union, when the Economic Partnership Agreement was signed. And by doing this, we opened the door for increased trade, but not only trade, but also we are building on a way forward to enable robust and safe data flow environments as an opportunity to multiply the potential for increased trade and investment, because there is no trade, basically no trade without data flows. So this all belongs together. And one key catalyst towards this vision is the ongoing EU-Kenya data flow dialogue. If successful, an adequacy agreement would deliver huge economic advantages for Kenya, and I know that we are working hard on this and that we are hoping to achieve concrete results until summer this year. This would grant Kenya access to a lucrative European digital market, including IT and business process outsourcing sector, with an estimated outsourcing demand of several billion US dollars. This means that, for example, call centers would establish their branches here in Kenya and would serve the European market as a whole, which is the biggest integrated market of the world with around 450 million consumers, as you all know. According to a recent model forecast, the global business solutions sector alone has the potential to create here in Kenya, I'm only talking about Kenya, 30,000 new jobs until 2033. And these are high-skilled, good-paid jobs. And these job opportunities is, for us as Germany, quite important, not only to create these jobs in Kenya, but also because we are working on a skilled migration labor agreement between Germany and Kenya right now. In the ICT sector alone in Germany, we have 149,000 vacant jobs where we look. And I think to bring our data systems closer together would also facilitate, of course, the movement of skilled people to Germany if they are interested to go there. As I said, we are negotiate the bilateral labor agreement. Just next week, our federal commissioner, Mr. Stamm, will come to Kenya here, and it's the last round of negotiation, and we hope to finalize it by then. So I would like once again just express my highest appreciation to see so many African representatives here. What I said in the beginning about the economic potential of the integration of the continent, I think is just enormous. And the conference here is a big opportunity for you, for us, for all of us to learn together, to connect, to network, and to grow together in this integrated data sphere here in Africa also. We are very happy as Germany and GIZ to support this conference and to support the networking amongst you. And we think that there's really a lot of opportunities in unlocking the economic potential of the digital economy. So looking ahead, we remain open as the federal government, as the European Union, to partnering with other entities, public and private, who share our vision for a world where data rights are respected and the digital economy empowers all. This is quite important, I think. It's not an elite thing. It concerns really everybody. It's starting with the youth. When I saw the film with the young people looking at their phones, I thought about my two sons at home, because that's exactly what they're doing all day long. And I think we also have to sensitize this generation about data sharing. And you know about the discussions about some of the social platforms that are used by a lot of youth. So I think this is really a very important task. So thank you very much for having me here. As we say in Kenya, asanteni sana, and in Kiswahili, nakutakia kiungamano, kia amani na baraka, asanteni sana.
Palosi Asante. Thank you so much, Ambassador, and we appreciate the collaboration you are doing here in Kenya and across the continent to enhance connection between us and learn from also what you are doing in Germany. I want to invite also one of our key friends, the Deputy Ambassador of European Union, Ondrej Simek. Welcome to make his remarks.
Thank you very much. I'll try to get through the protocol fairly quickly because I think we have put all the names. So Cabinet Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy, Chief Justice, Principal Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy, Chairperson of NATPA, Data Commissioner, representatives from Data Protection Authorities across Africa, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Sebastian, and thank you very much for setting up the stage. Good morning to all of you. It's a great pleasure to be here today on behalf of the European Union and to join you for the opening of this NATPA conference. I really want to thank the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner and the Government of Kenya for hosting the 7th edition of this very important event. I think my colleague already outlined all the excitement, I think, that we have on our side of the European Union, of Germany, of our member states. As we start the 2 days of deliberation, let me just take a moment to acknowledge the importance of data privacy. Data is clearly reshaping the fabric of our societies. Starts with the children, obviously, that are sitting on the phones, but also ends up with the adults that are doing more or less the same. It's clear that the data have become a critical resource, and they are offering a massive opportunity for us to revolutionize our healthcare, to address environmental challenges, to build smart cities. I mean, it's really endless potential. But of course, this potential also comes with its own set of risks. I think I don't really have to reiterate those, but you see it yourself that as our societies are going digital, a lot of massive amount of personal data and sensitive data are being generated, collected and processed every day. And with the introduction and increased use of artificial intelligence, this trend is increasing as well. Citizens around the world, both here in Africa and in Europe, are therefore not only benefiting, but they are also encountering the diverse challenges: data breaches, cyber attacks, cyber stalking, identity fraud. All of this is the result of unauthorized use of personal information. And what we see is the response, of course. New data protection laws are being put in place, and the role of independent supervisory authorities is growing. More and more countries, as we see it in Europe, are choosing a safe digital future. A future with stable and predictable legal framework that protects citizens' rights and offers business certainty as a basis for innovation. Security, innovation, hand in hand. We are the closest neighbor for Africa, and we are also very often the biggest trade and investment partner for Africa. And that's also one of the reasons why we are supporting the creation of the African Single Digital Market, where data can flow across borders, trust in digital solutions is high, and local private sector is able to leverage data value chains on the basis of clear and harmonized laws and regulations. To realize this vision, collaboration between data protection authorities around the world is needed to advance the regional and global harmonization of legal and regulatory frameworks. One area of specific importance is that of safe cross-border data flows. A first step is ensuring the data protection laws are in place. The second one is obviously to operationalize them effectively. These are critical steps towards Africa's single digital market and towards a global area for safe data exchange. We look very much forward to continuing the engagement with NATPA and its members on these issues in global fora such as the General Privacy Assembly. We're also interested in strengthening the collaboration between NATPA and its European counterpart, the European Data Protection Board, which brings together the national privacy regulators of our 27 member states. For the EU, the most comprehensive legal mechanism for free and safe cross-border data flows is an adequacy decision, what I think the German ambassador already hinted at. The decision means that a country outside of the EU is considered as providing similar level of protection for personal data as the level of protection within the EU. As a result, personal data can flow freely between both jurisdictions without any additional regulatory restrictions or conditions. I'm extremely pleased here to reiterate what Sebastian already mentioned, that Kenya and the European Union have started the very first adequacy dialogue on the African continent. It builds on many commonalities that are shared by our respective data protection regimes. And if it becomes successful, then these talks, this dialogue could result in an adequacy finding for Kenya. During the next months, we will be working closely together with the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner and the Ministry of Information, Communication and the digital economy to explore this possibility of building a safe personal data bridge between our two economies. An adequacy decision comes with significant benefits. It would boost digital trade between Kenya and the European Union, give Kenya access to Europe's growing data economy, which at this point is worth about 800 billion euro. It would also increase accessibility of data in a wide range of areas, including research, and unlock investment opportunities in business process outsourcing and digital service exports. Under such arrangement, and we kind of joked about this before this conference started, Kenya would be in a way assimilated into the European Union as far as data protection is concerned. And by that, I mean that the data flow between, let's say, Paris and Nairobi would be as free as it is between Paris and Berlin today. So it's a massive issue. In this way, an adequacy decision will also complement and amplify the benefits of the recently concluded EU-Kenya Economic Partnership Agreement. Indeed, that's about trade, but trade without data is not enough. Considering the immense progress that is being made by data protection authorities across the African continent, it is our hope that Kenya is an example, that there will be a continuous positive trend, and Kenya will become the first of many countries in Africa that can benefit from adequacy decision with the EU. On this positive note, I'd like to thank again the government of Kenya and the Network for Africa Data Protection Authorities for the excellent partnership and for inviting us today to be part of this conference. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. As we continue to discuss the adequacy between Kenya and the EU, we are also hoping as the aids of data protection and privacy in the continent, you also have this conversation. How do we unlock the connectivity and the trust within our countries, all the 55 countries in the continent, so that if we want to host data in Niger, Gambia, there should be no hesitation, because we need to be able to build that trust level so that we can optimize our investments in cloud infrastructure, in data centers, and also facilitate trade. Our CS, we have a representative from our legislative arm, representing the chairman of the ICT committee, Honorable Irene Mayaka. I will ask her to just introduce herself. Irene Mayaka, Mheshimiwa. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, PS. To the chief guests, our CJ, the CS, the commissioners present, ambassadors, our distinguished guests, good morning. My name is Irene Mayaka. I am a nominated member of parliament, and I sit in the Communication, Information, and Innovation Committee at the National Assembly, which in essence is the committee that supports the Ministry of ICT. And I'd just like to, first of all, congratulate my sister, the Data Commissioner, for this conference. I love the conversations that are already going on, the collaboration between Africa, the African countries present, and the collaboration that is about to happen between us and Germany and data protection extension. As we always say, the one thing that we try to do is to ensure that we do open up the space for ICT in our country, but at the same time safeguard it from any conditions that we do not want to affect us. So I just want to say on behalf of our committee, on behalf of our chair who is not present, that you will always have our legislative support when you need it. We will always be there. I know data protection is about to go on extensive reviews and amendments, and we will be there to really support you. So thank you very much, PS.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate the support we receive from our Committee of ICT at the National Assembly and at the Senate. This space of digital is really changing so fast, and it to all of us. And we really need to adjust and look, because the future of work is changing. How we trade, how we interact is changing. We are reshaping how to interact. And it's important for us to have this conversation. And we, in the country, we thank the leadership of our president, our CS, and also our judiciary. We've had very good engagement recently, as invited to the conference by the Labor Court, looking at in the future in terms of the nature of work. Ambassador has talked about presence of many PPOs developing and investing in the African continent. How do we operationalize them? How do we look at those kinds of jobs? And our legislative arm is also looking at it and putting pressure also on us to bring the necessary amendments to laws to look at that. And to guide us in this space, we really appreciate as a country your leadership, Lady Justice Koome. And it's now my pleasure and honor to invite Lady Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and the President of Supreme Court of Kenya.
Thank you very much, our host, Engineer Tanui, Honorable Eriund Owaro, the Cabinet Secretary for ICT and Digital Economy. I also recognize the President of NADPO, our Data Commissioner, all the commissioners from Africa, the Excellency, the ambassadors and High Commissioners present, and all the distinguished guests. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me. I came here to confirm that the judiciary will support all the data protection initiatives, because we in the judiciary have embraced technology. Colleagues from Africa, it is important for me to tell you, in the judiciary we have embraced e-filing. If you want to file a case, you can file it even on your mobile phone as you're sitting where you're sitting. You can also have a virtual hearing of a matter, and you can track the progress of your case from the filing to completion. But what worries us most is the data protection. And that is why I'm here today, most honored to join you for the Network Data Protection Authorities in Africa conference, a gathering that underscores the collective commitment of the data protection authorities in the continent to safeguard the fundamental right to privacy in an increasingly digital world. As we witness the exponential growth of information and communication technologies, we cannot ignore the profound impact they have on our lives. These technologies have revolutionized how we conduct transactions. Technology has revolutionized how we communicate and interact with the world around us. However, with these advancements came new challenges, particularly in the realm of data privacy and protection. The proliferation of remote transactions has brought convenience and efficiency to our lives, but it has also heightened the risk of fraud and misuse of personal information. Every time we engage in online activities, they leave behind a digital footprint. They leave behind a trail of personal data that, if mishandled, can result in identity theft and erosion of trust in digital services. And that is so well demonstrated by the artists who have put up a wonderful show of the misery that is brought by data misuse. Balancing the imperative of providing secure services with the protection of individual privacy rights is also very complex and multifaceted. It requires careful consideration of the trade-offs between security measures and privacy to safeguard the decisions that ultimately have profound implications for our democratic values and human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, privacy is not merely a legal or regulatory obligation. Privacy is a fundamental human right which we have enshrined in our Constitution and also in international human rights instruments. It is the cornerstone of individual autonomy and dignity, and it is essential for fostering trust in this digital ecosystem. We are now in an era where we are pursuing data-informed and evidence-based decision-making. The collection and usage of data present incredible opportunities to improve governance and also to improve and also track service delivery and seek accountability to improve the overall quality of our lives and of our peoples. Governments and private organizations alike are increasingly harnessing data to drive strategic decisions. In Kenya, we are witnessing a transformation where public agencies, including the judiciary, are mining data to inform policy interventions. This transformation empowers us to make more informed and equitable decisions, advancing the public interests and fostering national development. However, we must not overlook the inherent imperatives of informational privacy as we harness the potential of data. We are custodians of citizens' personal data. It is therefore our duty to ensure that their rights to privacy are respected and upheld. The importance of data protection lies not just in compliance with laws, but in upholding the trust and confidence that citizens place in public institutions. Our responsibility as regulators and protectors of privacy is to ensure that data collection adheres to the stringent data privacy principles. Take, for instance, in the justice sector in Kenya, the justice sector encompasses the police. We also have the prosecution, judiciary, prisons, and correctional services. Through working together and sharing our data has given us the opportunity to streamline data sharing across the justice chain by fostering interagency collaboration we are now able to eliminate the need for redundant data correction and minimize the risk of intrusive interventions. This approach will also enhance transparency, reduce administrative burdens, and foster more efficient delivery of justice. For those who practice law, they know the journeys of going to court to file cases, the journeys of going to retrieve files, those are no more. As Africa embarks on its digital transformation, the appetite for data on the continent is growing exponentially. With the proliferation of data and digital technologies, there is an increasing risk of exploitation by entities that seek to mine data for their own gain. The onus is on us to safeguard the interests of the people we serve and of our population. As data protection authorities gathered here today, you must invest in public education initiatives. We must raise awareness about data privacy. We must raise awareness about the rights and the dangers of data exploitation. We must empower individuals to understand and exercise their rights. You must be ever vigilant in safeguarding informational privacy. This requires developing robust data governance frameworks that ensure transparency, accountability, and security in the data usage. I'm very, very encouraged by us African countries coming together. African nations can actually create a data ecosystem that serves the public interest while protecting the fundamental rights to privacy. We, as the judiciaries also in Africa, we are having this conversation on how we can use technology as an enabler to access to justice. And we are thinking if the judiciaries in Africa can embrace technology and we are able to deal with the backlog of cases, we are going to frog march to the first world. And indeed, the first world, the European Union, will now be asking us to join the group. We can become leaders in data protection. We can set standards that the world over can use. In Kenya, our courts are developing jurisprudence which is interpreting the legal commitments to protection of data that is founded on the rights-enhancing paradigm that prioritizes the privacy rights of individuals by upholding the rights of individuals to control their personal data and ensure its responsible use by organizations across the various sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also important for us to appreciate that in digital age, it has increasingly become evident that children and young adults are not just passive consumers of technology, but active participants in the digital world. From online learning to social media interactions, their engagement with digital platforms is pervasive and profound. And I'm happy to note in this very rich conference, you have a program that is going to address the safety of our children and the young adults. Emerging issues such as internet hygiene, cyberbullying, and online predators underscore the need for comprehensive mechanisms to safeguard children's digital experiences. It is imperative that digital policies and programs take into account the unique vulnerability of our children and prioritize their safety in the design of software applications and online platforms by building a safe and trusted digital space for them. We also need to empower them to harness the potential benefits of technology, but we must mitigate the inherent risk, ensuring that they can explore, learn, and grow in a secure online environment. Therefore, I urge you as Africa's data protection authorities to prioritize the protection of our children, recognizing that their safety and well-being is paramount. In conclusion, let me note that these challenges extend beyond national borders. The issues we face are global in nature, requiring collaboration and cooperation among data protection authorities across Africa and beyond. Therefore, I commend the convening of this conference that brings together data protection authorities, as it will serve as a vital platform for fostering exchanges, sharing best practices, and establishing and advocating for common standards in data protection. I urge you to robustly enforce the laws that protect personal data and information privacy. It is only through this effective enforcement that we will deter violations and uphold human rights. And with those many remarks, it is indeed my honor to wish you a very, very pleasant stay here in Nairobi and a wonderful conference. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. You've challenged us, those of us from the continent responsible for data protection and privacy. We have a huge responsibility to ensure our citizens, the citizens of the African continent, are secured, and also to ensure they benefit from this emerging economy. Thank you also, Chief Justice, because judiciary has set a very good example here in the country by leading in digitization and adoption of new technologies to enhance access to justice. Asante sana. And our colleagues from the continent, when you have chance, I think during your conversations, you'll have chance to visit some of the institutions in this country, and you can build connection and leverage some of the experiences we've already had. Now it's my honor to invite our chief guest, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, Honorable Eliud Owalo, to give his remarks as our chief guest. Welcome.
The Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and President of the Supreme Court, our distinguished diplomats led by the Deputy Ambassador of the EU, as well as our Ambassador representing the Federal Republic of Germany, all our integral stakeholders, starting with members of the legislature, our donors and partners, the chair of the Network for African Data Protection Authorities, and all the data protection commissioners, our own data protection commissioner, Madam Immaculate Kasait. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to ride on the protocols that have so far been established. And as I start, just to put us on the correct pedestal, let me, with all the requisite humility, convey greetings to all of you from His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, who ought to have been our chief guest this morning, but due to other emerging issues, he was unable to be with us this morning, and this was conveyed to us at the last minute. But he did request me, or instruct me for that matter, to pass his greetings and also convey his best wishes to all the delegates who are attending this very, very important conference to discuss digital transformation in Africa on one hand and data governance on the other. Allow me to espouse the importance of this conference. This conference, ladies and gentlemen, is extremely important because it gives us a platform as thought leaders in the digital space to look back in retrospect as an African continent, to recognize the milestones that we have realized so far in the space of data governance, and also perhaps have a candid discussion on what we need to do to sustain that moving forward. But in equal measure also, it gives us the opportunity to take stock of the challenges that we have faced with regard to data governance, more so in the face of rapid digital transformation within the African continent, and have a discussion and agree on an action plan on what we need to do moving forward to overcome those challenges so that our digital transformation agenda can be undertaken within the framework and ambit of a strong policy, legal, and regulatory framework from a data governance perspective. In equal measure, good people, this platform will enable us to analyze areas where we have got gaps and what we need to do to close those gaps from a continental perspective to strengthen the data governance framework. And at the same time, we will also have the opportunity to recognize the lessons that we have learned in the recent past and how those lessons can inform what we are going to do moving forward in the same regard. Again, informed by that contextual analysis, we should then be able to come up with a very, very clear roadmap that clearly articulates our critical success factors with respect to data governance as a continent, the structures that we need to have, how we strengthen our data governance authorities, and also a clear action plan with very, very clear responsibility centers, timeframes, expected outputs, and output indicators for that matter. And if we rode on that pedestal, I've got the confidence that as an African continent, we would be able to strengthen our data governance framework to ensure both data privacy and data security in the face of rapid digitalization, which is now a global issue, and Africa cannot be an exception. Good people, one question that keeps on cropping up in the face of global digitalization is, are we not overexposing ourselves to cyber insecurity by digitizing records and also in equal measure digitalizing services? And the answer is simple, that we are not going to stop digitizing records and digitalizing services because of cyber insecurity. But we need to come up with a very, very robust risk mitigation framework within the digital space to ensure that as we embark on digitalization, we are not exposing ourselves to loopholes or pilferages in data. We need to strengthen our data privacy and also data security. As you are aware, most African countries are today in earnest or with zeal enhancing the level of fiber connectivity or interconnect connectivity for that matter. In equal measure, we are enhancing the level of digital skilling for our youth and even the wider population. We are also now, in the face of digitalization, pursuing digital identities. All these issues bring to the fore the urgent need for having a robust discussion on what we need to do as an African continent in the face of global digitalization to strengthen data privacy and data security. So this conference could not have come at a better time, because as we do all this, there are fundamental questions that we need to tackle. There are candid discussions that we need to have. What do we need to do as an African continent to ensure that we move together in tandem from the perspective of data governance and data security, so that no country is left behind? And that perhaps informs an integral component of the discussion that we are going to have during this conference. How do we move in tandem so that we come up with policies, laws, and regulations, a strong foundation on the basis of which data privacy and data security can be anchored, but with policies, laws, and regulations that are in tandem with each other or speak to each other as opposed to being discordant to each other. So that is a discussion that we need to have. The other issue that we need to discuss is how do we ensure that we optimize the data infrastructure that we have at our disposal so that we don't have duplicity of effort on one hand or wastage of resources on the other. For example, if I may just give a hypothetical example for purposes of illustration. If one country has already set up a data center as part and parcel of our cloud infrastructure, how do we ensure that that data center is going to attain optimal capacity utilization levels while leveraging on the demand of Africa as a market for data storage? Or should we go the route of one country setting up a data center today, another one setting up a data center tomorrow, another one setting up a data center the following day? So it brings to the fore a discussion on optimal utilization of data storage infrastructure that we have at our disposal, so that there is no duplicity of effort, so that we can have adequate uptake of the data infrastructure that we have. But again, we are operating in an environment where factors in play keep on changing. We have got a lot of emerging issues in our operational environment today. We are dealing with issues of AI, dealing with issues of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, just to mention but a few of the emerging issues in that digital space. How do we tackle these issues while moving together as an African continent? That again calls for proactivity. And if it calls for proactivity, it means that we have to be proactive so that we are ahead of change, good people. We have to be proactive. And that is why on a continuous basis, because of dynamism in our operational environment, what will enable African countries to remain relevant in the digital marketplace will be our level of creativity and innovation, strategic agility and maneuverability in the digital space. And that means we need to continuously, based on what is happening in our operational environment, look at our laws, policies, and regulations. Think of what we need to do. Strengthen the existing laws, policies, and regulations on one hand, and also in instances where they are absent, we think of how to come up with new laws, policies, and regulations. And I want to thank our respective legislatures, starting with our own parliament here in Kenya, for being able, always able and willing to augment our efforts based on what is happening in our operational environment so that we strengthen our legal, policy, and regulatory framework, more so with respect to data governance. Good people, the issues I've put on the table are the facts of the case, that we must continue with digitalization. If there is any message I want you to take home as an African continent from this conference today, is that we need to go home and digitalize everything. But in equal measure, we must ensure that we strengthen our risk mitigation framework so that we have a robust policy, legal, and regulatory framework on the basis of which data storage can be anchored to facilitate data privacy on one hand and data security on the other. With those many remarks, it is now my distinguished honor and privilege on behalf of His Excellency the President to declare this conference officially opened. Thank you very much.
Been running concurrently with this one, but a remarkable statement there. We need to be proactive so that are ahead of change. Very important. Africa cannot afford to sleep through this fourth industrial revolution. Very important indeed. So, got a lot indeed after this.
We do indeed. Just a few announcements allow us to dispense with some of the housekeeping so that we can move to a very exciting session that's happening right after this so that we can formally close the opening ceremony. So just a reminder, some of you have not finished your registration procedure or process. This badge is imperative for you to be able to freely move around over the next 2 days, including receiving your meals. So this is what is standing between you and your lunch. So kindly make sure you take a moment to complete the registration process. We'll have a few minutes before we jump into the second part of our session. So please make sure that you finish that. For my French brothers and sisters, les inscriptions sont toujours en cours. Donc vous aurez besoin de vos badges pour toutes les activités, y compris vos repas. Donc veuillez vous assurer de terminer l'inscription dans les salles qui sont à notre droite, c'est ça? A few of you asked where the facilities are. We do have facilities available. We have an ambulance on standby, and so if you do need to relieve yourselves, I believe they are to our left and to your right. Si vous avez besoin des toilettes,
to use the washrooms, they're on my left, and it
kits. They're only supposed to be used here. That's where they really work well. So in case you have to leave this place, please also leave them behind. It's very important. We'll be taking a health break about 15 minutes. So when that happens, I'd kindly request that we leave all the kits here. But in the meantime, we want to celebrate some of the key parties who are here. I understand we have the CEO Airtel. A big round of applause for them. Thank you so much. We have CEO ICTA, ICT Authority, Law Society of Kenya President is here, Faith Odhiambo, CEO Media Council of Kenya, and of course Communication Authority CEO. Welcome.
And thank you for being here with us. So later today we have a masterclass on the thing our chief guest was speaking about, artificial intelligence. What is this thing called AI? Now, of course, we assume you all have a basic knowledge of this, but we have a team running a masterclass, which is very, very exciting. In fact, that's where Johnson and I will be running to shortly. So if you would like to join us, this will be taking place in the Oak Room at the main hotel. We only have about 100 spaces, so first come, first served. So please make sure you run along with us and make sure you secure your seat.
Secure your seat, indeed. So, we've got some winners and awards as well.
We do indeed. We have some young students, some practitioners who since Saturday have been in a hackathon.
What is a hackathon?
What is a hackathon? Well, they're about to come and tell us. And we want to say that there have been 3 teams, 3 hackathon teams of 5 members each.
Wow.
And these have been running at it since Saturday. And today we want to know who the winners are.
And I understand we want us to know who they are, but they will also be going home with something memorable.
Money is always memorable. And title is even more memorable. The best of the best of the best. They will be taking home 200,000 shillings.
Wow.
A round of applause.
Okay.
So we got a bit worried when we were told there were hackers in our midst, but they are ethical hackers, and so we're happy about that. And it is an important part of our ecosystem to be able to be proactive and to be able to manage the things that may come and be a risk or a danger to the progress. So we want to appreciate these teams. If we could have our winning team come up, I'll ask our secretariat officials to assist us with that. This is our moment to appreciate and recognize these young ones.
All right, please come forward. Well done.
Let's give them a round of applause as they come. This was a hackathon on data protection. Le hackathon était en cours depuis samedi. Et 3 équipes de 5 membres ont participé à la compétition. Et aujourd'hui, nous voulons savoir qui sont les gagnants et récompenser les gagnants aussi. Allow me to ask our chief guest to come up, please.
Please.
Bwana CS, would you kindly join us here? We'll also ask Chief Justice Martha Koome, please come and award these young ones who have hacked away.
Ethical hacking, huh? And where is the check? Okay, it's going to be delivered.
All right, we also would like to have KCB Bank representation up here with us, kindly. Let me ask
and
Russo and GIZ as well. Kindly join us up on stage. All been instrumental this process, and we would like you here as we award our winners.
And we're very keen to see the check, please.
Our PS Tanui, please join us as well. Okay.
Okay.
So this wonderful check, Madam Kasait, is being awarded to these winners today. I want to see more smiles. You guys have been hacking away since Saturday. Are you excited? All right, congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our winners today.
And the check is going to be unveiled. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause.
Yes, indeed.
100,000.
Team Tokyo are winners. Our team leader, where is our team leader of Team Tokyo? Please come and join me. How are you? Say hello to these people. Where you're from.
Hello, I'm Prisha Patel, and we are all from different universities. Are you? Check.
Check.
Please use this. Check.
Check. Use this one for you.
So I'm from USIU, and my other members are from different universities. And we've been participating and working on this project since we started on Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. We've been working on building the project, and we had the final presentations yesterday, and we are really happy and excited to win this. And we would like to use this money for a startup, and we'd also collaborate in future projects.
Wow. Excellent, excellent.
Thank you so, so much. I believe our media team have great photos with everybody smiling. Wonderful. Congratulations, our team leader, Priya, and the entire team who've been hacking away. Thank you to all our partners and our chief guests. Thank you so much. You may take your seats. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, to our winners. We look forward to the startup. We're going now into a quick photo session.
Aha.
So we would like to invite the following, please, our chief guest as well. My apologies for asking you to sit down. Kindly come back up. As they come up, please allow me to also invite all the data protection commissioners here present, and les présidents des autorités de protection des données. Si vous êtes là, parmi nous,
Presidents, if you are amongst us, kindly join us for a photo session.
We will have a photo with all our commissioners et tous nos présidents des autorités de protection des données. Si vous êtes là, parmi nous, s'il vous plaît.
If you are amongst us, kindly join us on stage for a quick photo session.
Once we are done with this photo, as we arrange ourselves, please let's have all our CEOs of all our ministry or parastatal bodies who are present, both in the private sector, any of the companies who are here as our partners. Please be on standby. We will invite you next. Les chefs d'entreprise qui sont parmi nous. And also the CEOs, my apologies, for the public sector organizations. We'll take a few moments. I'll ask our media team to guide us so we have the best possible shots. Cette photo est pour tous les présidents des autorités de protection de données.
The chairs of the data
qui sont parmi nous.
Kindly smile.
Manager, smile.
Smile.
We're very excited for this annual general meeting and conference. Thank you for being here. Merci beaucoup
Thank you for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As they take their seats, all CEOs present, both in private and public sector, tous les chefs d'entreprise qui sont là.
All CEOs.
Please join us for a photo with our chief guests. Madame Sanadi, s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup. On a encore 2 photos à prendre. Et puis vous pouvez vous asseoir. If you are here representing a private sector partner, organization, or one in the public sector, veuillez nous joindre aussi pour cette séance photo.
Come and participate in this photo session.
Same thing. We require teeth. We are here marking this great occasion, and we want to recognize that you are here with us from both the private and public sector, all our CEOs.
We also have the Gambian PS. If you're here, please make your way to the front.
Our permanent secretary from the Gambia who addressed us earlier. Sir, please join us on stage as well for this photo. Next, we will be inviting all the ODPC senior management. Please be on standby. ODPC senior management, your photo is the last one that we will be taking here today. Kindly be on standby so we can gain some time. After this opening ceremony, we are excited that we have launched and kicked off what is going to be an exciting 2 days, Johnson.
Absolutely.
En fait, nous espérons que cette Assemblée Générale et cette conférence offriront une occasion unique de réseauter, de consulter,
to network, to consult, to think and to collaborate together, to share good practices with regard to data protection.
Release our Chief Guest and our Chief Justice. Mesdames et messieurs, one more time, a round of applause as they step out. We thank you so much.
So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a 15-minute break. Immediately, that will come back and we will engage in a panel discussion on navigating the global data privacy landscape and promoting data flows. So right now it's 3 minutes past 12, so our 15 minutes begin now, ladies and gentlemen. Please pace yourselves so that when you come, we kick off and we close in good time for lunch. Thank you so much. Remember the translation kits?